too often government gets away with actually using very nice bullet points about their values, but if the values are not reflected in outcomes, then nothing will change. Democracy should be about ensuring that every single member of our community has access to equal justice. We don't have that yet.
We can ensure democracy is racially equitable when we ensure that democracy is accessible. Because just because democracy exists doesn't mean that all of our communities have equal access to participate democratically. So we need to focus on what that looks like and how that shows up in our communities, and what are local municipalities responsible? What is our piece where we need to ensure that we're creating the access needed? Do we ensure that we have representation when we're developing policy? Are we meeting in communities where they can get, equitably to the meetings where we're discussing something that's high stakes and that impacts them first? Are we ensuring to consult with the right folks as we develop something that's highly consequential in our community? All these day-to-day decisions are about access to democracy, and until we get that right, we're not really going to have the ability to shape it in the way that it needs to be. So it's incumbent upon all of us, and not just leaders of color. It's everyone, and particularly white allies and folks, to help ensure that for the whole community. It's not solely the responsibility of people of color in this work.
Well, and honestly, I would say the pushback is coming now because all of a sudden there are more people of color running and getting elected in the public office at the national level, at the local, the state level. And until people get comfortable with being uncomfortable with the diverse changes that are coming to our democracy, then we're going to continue to have the pushback from folks who like the status quo just the way it is.
Yes, and I would also just add that that's why I take every opportunity, and I know Commissioner Hardesty, you take every opportunity when we have a critical appointment to a board or commission, when we're developing policy. It's not just about the regular people that show up, which is great, and they're dedicated advocates, but really critically look to make sure that we're not leaving out any voices, or that there's another critical perspective that's not at the table. It matters that we're here.
Yes.
And you're seeing that in showing how you're seeing that show up in how we staff our board and commissions, how we staff our offices,
Yes.
The policies that we choose to prioritize in this work. And it makes for more challenging conversations sometimes, but we have a better outcome.
You're so true. I remember the good old days of visiting City Hall, and there was always a person of color at the reception desk.
Only.
But if you got past the reception desk, you did not see any people of color in the halls of City Hall at all. And so I have to say, Commissioner Rubio and I have radically changed that outcome because that has not been the norm in this building.